Example 3 is an example of the really complicated situations that you can find yourself in when you're trying to do these unit analysis problems. Now, I know in the real world, you would probably just keep filling up the concrete with however many water bottles you had until you had enough. But you want to be precise. So we would want to figure out exactly how many of these water bottles that we would want to use so that we get exactly 2.5 gallons of water. We don't have a container that tells us when we have 2.5 gallons of water in this particular scenario. So what we're going to do is we're going to convert our 20-ounce bottle, and we're going to figure out how many of those we need in order to get to gallons, or 2.5 gallons. So I like to take whatever my question units are and start there. So what I mean here is the question is, how many bottles of water do you need to add? So I'm going to start with what I know about a bottle of water. I know that 1 bottle of water is equal to 20 ounces. So that's what I'm going to start with. Now I need to just start converting until I get into the gallons. So I know that there are 8 ounces in 1 cup. So that gets me at least from ounces to cup. Then I also know that there are 2 cups in 1 pint. So I've gotten my ounces to cancel, I've gotten my cups to cancel. Now I'm in pints, still not to gallons, but I know that there are 2 pints in 1 quart. So now I've gotten the pints to cancel. I'm almost there. There are 4 quarts in 1 gallon. So I can convert my bottle into how many gallons it gives me. And then my final part here is just knowing that however many of these bottles that I have found, I need to multiply by 2.5 gallons in order to figure out how many bottles that I need. So again, I know these kinds of problems are really tricky. You won't see a whole lot of them, but my suggestion is always to start with the unit that you need your answer to be in. How many bottles of water? So I start with bottle, and then I just start canceling things out until I have everything canceled. So you'll probably use some additional information in the problem, like we did with the 2.5 gallons, and you'll often have a lot of conversions like we did in this problem. We had to go from ounces to cups to pints to quarts, finally to gallons. But once you have this all set up, you do have everything you need to get to the answer. I know some students are able to look at these problems and just figure out whether they should multiply or divide. I get that. If you can think through these problems, then that's great. But if you need a little help setting these up, this is the strategy that I would suggest that really helps you set this up using this unit conversion. But I've taught this unit conversion process for several years now, and a lot of students just really hate doing it. They hate setting this all up. They'd rather convert the gallons into ounces and then divide by 20 ounces. That's totally fine. So if that's you, you probably would think of this problem of, all right, well, I know that I have 2.5 gallons, and I want to convert this into ounces because I know how many ounces are in 1 bottle. And so you would take the 2.5 gallons, set it over 1, and then we know that 1 gallon is 4 quarts. We know that 1 quart is 2 pints. We know that 1 pint is 2 cups. And we know that 1 cup is 8 ounces. So notice we had almost the same conversions here. On this one, you have 2.5, you multiply by 4, you multiply by 2, you multiply by 2, and you multiply by 8, and you have 320 ounces. And for someone who thinks of this problem this way, and I know most of you are going to think of this problem this way, and that's fine, you have how many ounces that you have, and you know that your bottle is 20 ounces, so you just divide by 20 ounces, and you see that it's 16 bottles. Now if we go back up to the other problem set up using the unit analysis, Our first number, we start with 1, and do notice that there's a 20 down below in that first fraction. So we do need to go ahead and divide by 20, then multiply by 8, multiply by 2, multiply by 2, multiply by 4, and multiply by 2.5, and you still get 16 ounces. So whichever way you'd prefer to set these up, either one is fine. Both of them are hard. So determine a way that's going to work for you. And I see that I've overstepped this page. Okay, now you can see everything. Find the way that works for you. You might have to look over this example a few times. If you need a few additional practice problems with these challenging ones, let me know. You don't have to do many of them. Most of the ones you do are just simple conversions. But when you do have a real world scenario like this, it's going to involve a few extra steps.